Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast where we dive into the biggest entertainment stories and the latest political news. Pull up a chair and let the shenanigans begin. But before we do get started, make sure you like and subscribe to our podcast. We would really appreciate it. That'll help us get to algorithm, of course. Again, I'm Carlos, and that is Robbie. We are your favorite podcasters, and this is the last fucking word. Okay, Robbie, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Are you sure?
Finally get to the table and get this going.
I mean, it's been a journey, but we're finally here, and we're gonna make this happen.
11 years in the making, actually.
Really? What do you mean?
How long have we known each other?
Oh, what, has it been 11 years?
Just about. When you think about it. I mean, and do you remember how we met?
I just know tennis. That's what I know. I mean, give me the quick little backstory.
Quick little backstory. When I broke up with my ex before that, and I lived on my own, I wanted tennis partners. So it was the first time that I looked on Craigslist for tennis partners. And you and actually another friend of mine were actually the only two people who hit me up, and then we've known each other and played with each other ever since.
Oh yeah. It's been a long journey for tennis. Like any tennis fans out there, we've been playing for a long time, watching and playing. So it's a good thing. But we're gonna have some great conversations today. So let's get into our first subject. Our first subject is we're talking about. You guys all know this. You guys all know who Mark Robertson is, who is the lieutenant governor of North Carolina, and all of his shenanigans that he has going on right now. And we just want to give him a little conversation, not too much because it's too much to even talk about. It makes my brain freaking freeze to talk about what's going on with him. But pretty much the point is that he went on Nude Africa, and years ago, I think it was like maybe 10 years ago, maybe, and he had a profile up, and he ended up on the user board. He ended up putting that he was a black Nazi, and he also that he was that he liked for slavery to be reinstated into society, and among other salacious things. But that's what those are the prompts that got him to this place where he is MAGA, mega MAGA, and we're trying to figure out what the Democrats are trying to figure out. Are they going to be able to use this as a way to turn the election in the direction of the Democrats, or is it going to be something that's going to help MAGA? Because remember, there is no bounds with that side. What do you think, Robbie?
He is the perfect example of a political puppet who has it's almost like if you put him on paper and you laid him out to me, and I didn't even know who this dude was, and I was like, he's a Southerner, and he's a lieutenant governor, and he's in politics, and he's ultra religious, and he's black, and I would say, let's bet him. That's just me, because it's too good to be true. Especially, what is upsetting about this is that we need black politicians and to look up to. We need them to be honest, and we need politicians, period, to be honest, no matter if they're black, white, or whatever. But for MAGA to not even vet this guy, get him to this far, and to me, the most racist thing ever you could say is that he is Martin Luther King Jr. on steroids. Like, I mean, like, if you heard that live, wouldn't you be like, what are they talking about?
Yeah. I really think they're vetting him. I really do. And I think that's why he was able to be in the position that he's in, because he is so ultra right. And it's just like, it's out of control. Do you remember, well, not even do you remember, I mean, Tim Scott, and Byron Donaldson. To me, they fall in that same category of black politician that kind of panders to the right, and it's so funny because those politicians to me who are in that, right side of right, they are doing the bidding of, the not even the party, not even the GOP party. It's not even that anymore. They're doing the bidding of MAGA with their lies and their, completely, utterly like trash talking about what the left or Democrats may or may not be doing to service the people.
Oh, they're paid
And
and
it's
bought for, hands
which that
down. They're paid and bought for. That's
yeah, but
literally what
but
it is. Yeah.
it's pure gaslighting. Like they'll say one thing, and then if they get caught, they'll do one thing. You remember like just to break up a little bit. Robert Moore. I mean, Ray. What was it? Roy Moore. You had Roy Moore, and then you also have the other congressman. Um, what's his name? What's that freaking guy's name? Anthony Weiner, which was a Democrat.
Yeah.
But
Well,
they all go through this. Even Ted Cruz. They all have this, whether it's sexual assault case or they have this kind of ultra right kind of just craziness about them that kind of attracted MAGA. Like it attracts them. It's just like, they're honey, and you get more bees with honey than vinegar. So it's like they're honey. Like they love that kind of thing. It
oh,
drives that base.
yeah. You find you can find anybody who doesn't even have a spine to sit on and is morally insane and will take a paycheck for anything.
Yeah.
You could pay them to say anything you want. You know who's this? This is a similar campaign killer to when the Democrats. What was that guy named John Edwards?
Johnny. Oh yeah, when he.
Yeah, remember that? That was
Mhm.
huge.
Yeah.
And that was what Hillary's time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that really hurt us because he was to the Democrats, him and Weiner clearly were in line to be future presidents. And of course, these guys carried scandals, and it destroyed the campaign. It destroyed, it really
But
did.
that was a time when we had morals. That was a time when politics had a sense of. I think there was a moral compass there that you were able to
When
be
did politics
directed in
have
a
a
way.
moral compass? What are you talking
What
about?
is that?
When did politics have a moral compass?
No,
Because you
no.
could talk
I
about.
mean, I'm saying comparatively to now. Like you look at it now, it's so great. Like it's on. You talking about steroids? Like politics is on like
Oh yeah.
crazy steroids now. But back then, if you like Anthony Weiner, he did his thing in New York and sent the girl nude photos, and guess what? He dropped out, and okay, the Democrats forced him to drop out. Even with Anthony, what's his name? You just talked about the
Edwards. Well,
John Edwards. Same thing happened to him. I think he what was his scandal? His scandal was that he
was cheating on his wife,
was
and he had a
she
baby.
had
He had a
cancer.
baby with another woman,
Yeah, she had cancer.
and he was hiding.
So
Yeah,
rem-
he was paying
and he was
campaign money to
next,
hide his family.
yes, but he was next in line, Robbie. Next
Yeah.
in line,
Well,
and
there's
dropped
also a
out.
difference in society though to do today. So John
Yeah,
Edwards was beginning of social media. We
yeah,
didn't have TikTok then. So, and we didn't have influencers who are going to dive deep into politicians and hold them accountable. And this is what's
right,
happening today. After
right,
we've had cancel culture, now we have influencers who say, if you're going to say something online, we're going to look into you. And when you have people like Mark Robinson, who has a porn addiction, who will say, and they put him on the pedestal, of course you're going to
hmm
have some 15-year-old kid go, well, let me go look at it. And you find somebody who has used their original email for like 11
a
years.
decade.
It does, and also who I can admittedly say, and this might be strange, I don't watch porn. So
Right.
I don't understand why people would be put like texting or talking porn sites. Like, why would you say you're a black Nazi in porn sites? Like, who cares? Who are you talking to?
Because remember, it's a culture. It's a culture.
And of course, he's anti-LGBTQ,
Yeah.
and he most likely, and he's into transsexuals, which you can be into whatever you want to be into, but you can't.
Right.
You cannot create bills and legislate against it. And to me, that is the ultimate of insecurities of these politicians who don't want to be who they really are, who are bought and paid for, and will say anything
Right.
and destroy millions of people's lives because you can't be honest with yourself. I think that's really unfair.
To whom though?
To whom?
Remember,
To people's campaign money.
But the only reason why I asked that is because he has a base. Someone is going to go into that curtain, or into that box, and they're going to pull the lever for Mark Robinson. They're
Oh,
going to.
oh, I'm sure, but I'm sure his base is probably paid for by religious PACs. So that's
Right.
what I'm saying. And most religious people, because most of them probably, just speculating, hypothetical, are usually
Mhm.
into some corrupt shit. You know what I mean? So why would they vet somebody else? Because they don't want to be vetted themselves. And this is also a big cycle of shit of when the evangelicals say, hey, we're going to put this person up, because they want to, like, represent, what we want to put in law, abortions and all this other
Yeah.
crap, and get rid of gay laws and stuff like that. They're not even looking at the people who are speaking for them. They don't, because they think that, oh, they're the man of God, then therefore they're honest. You know what I mean? We can trust these guys, because
And please don't get into religion. Please, I don't get into religion, because that's going to take us.
but that's what it's all about. But isn't this whole political season literally about religion? I mean, Project 2025, like all this is Christians trying to take over the country.
Right. I
It,
thought the world was Christian. I thought the United States was Christian, so I don't
no,
get it.
well,
But
I mean,
I really don't get the whole. No, you just said Christians trying to take over the country. I really don't get Christians, especially evangelicals, trying to take over the country, backing Trump or something. I don't. I've tried my best to try to put my brain on what's the incentive, what's the purpose, who benefits, you know what I mean, from someone like Donald Trump being in office as a Christian. Like, how do you benefit from someone who has 34 counts, you know what I mean, sexually harassing people, 2 impeachments, like indicted? Like, how do you benefit? How do you support that and still call yourself a Christian? I really don't get it.
that's
I
that's not
don't.
what they just want somebody who they can pay, who will get their agenda
Right.
done.
And I get
And
right.
if you want to get rid of abortion rights and gay rights and control education, which is weird, and you know what I mean, erase history stuff,
Yeah.
that is a dirty agenda. And if only somebody who is power hungry would say, all right, I'll do it for you guys, who cares how much you gonna pay me? You know what I mean? And that's the kind of like world we live in right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who actually really wants to do some good and who's actually sincere? And to me, religious PACs, evagelicals, are doing
Mhm.
more harm to the country than
That's why I
good.
can't do religion. That's why I can't do it. I appreciate appreciate there's like 4,000 religions in the world.
Hmm.
And
But
I
technically,
get,
in this
don't
country,
don't
there's
get me
only
wrong,
one. So,
everybody has the right to believe in what they believe in
oh, for
and
sure.
to be able to choose what they choose, and I get that. But when it's impactful to another person, that's when you got to step back and say, wait a minute, is this the right, am I in the right situation? Am I in the right religion? Cult, whatever it is you decide to be in, because it's affecting someone else in a negative or adverse way. That's when you have to really think about what it is you're in. And a lot of those people, they don't, because they've been indoctrinated for so long in this religion or in this cult or whatever it is you're in. You've been indoctrinated so long that you don't know how to even step out of it, because your subconscious has got it. It's in your subconscious. It can't even. You have to do a lot of unpacking to get to the nucleus of, okay, who are you really? Because a lot of people are just, like you say, Christian Robbie. You know what I mean? They're the
Well,
Christian first, then they're
yeah, I
Robbie.
mean, you don't even know who you are because they're cults. So
Exactly.
therefore, you're nobody. You're a collective,
Yeah,
and
you're a number.
you work
You're a
off a
number.
collective thought, and
Yeah,
and that's the way life is. You don't want to step outside of the collective
exactly.
and think for yourself. You know what I mean? You don't want to like be around normal people and go to the city and go to the beach and be like, well,
Yeah,
there are people different than me. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Why do we need to make everybody in school read one Bible in the morning? And it's like, remember the last time when we were kids, because we old, they pulled this shit.
First off,
And you remember back in school, when we went to school in elementary, they could
yeah,
spank us then, and we had to pray. Remember how
yes.
insane that was? And I come from a Baptist family, so therefore we were very church going, and I still wasn't
Mhm.
even cool with that. I was like, I am not praying in school, and God forbid the principal is going to try to spank me. There's no way in the world.
Yeah.
And then they tried to pull this shizniggle again in the late 80s. Remember when Ebonics came around?
Stop with Ebonics. Stop it.
You remember that? That was the whole evangelical Christian push then, trying to demonize people of color, give us less education, take away, our rights. God forbid if you have to like vet people of color to go to colleges and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on.
But let me ask you this question, because we kind of veered off. Let me ask you this, Mark Robertson. Do you think he wins?
No.
And if he wins, I mean, if he loses, does Kamala win North Carolina? Because
yes.
the last person that won North Carolina, I think, was like Obama.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, my predictions period is I think she's going to probably have Reagan type numbers in the election. It's going to be probably like an 80% across the states. I think it's going to be a big ass beating, honestly. And I think she could actually win North Carolina, honestly. I think that scandal right there really did a number on the Republican Party.
You think the scandal hurts? You think Mark Robinson's that scandal is going to hurt?
For sure, because any kind of black voter that you had there that might have been as an independent or even a Republican, if you live in North Carolina, why would you that's a disgrace. Even if you are a religious person, therefore, if you have some kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a right and a wrong here, and I think that, honestly, she just flipped a lot of votes just with that scandal alone.
Just for the scandal, you said she flipped a lot.
Oh yeah, hands down. And with young voters in North Carolina.
Oh yeah, it's over. Like, I mean, she's a 21-point lead with young voters in the nation. Yeah. So I can just imagine a lot of those Gen Zers who are what they call woke, you know what I mean? Whatever that means.
Oh my God.
I know what it means, but we ain't gonna get into that. But
I hate that word.
Yeah, we get to that some other time. But a lot of those Gen Zers are going to like be adamantly like pushing for Kamala. Like, I just know
hands down. And Gen Zers are not doing polls, so I don't even know where they get these poll numbers from, because the Swifties alone in Texas might turn Texas blue. So. Yeah, and Arizona and Florida and Carolina. So, you know what I mean? Like, they have no idea the wave that's about to come. I think we're going to have the House and the Senate, and we're going to get some shit done, finally.
Okay, good.
Even though we have to spend more time reversing shit and damage that those people just did. Like, every single Republican, every time Republicans take office, we have to fix the problem.
Are you talking about the House?
Yeah, the House and the Senate, or
but
whatever.
The House have to listen to me. They passed 54 bills. Now, last House passed about 200 something bills. So they on a trajectory to be the worst House in the United States history of congressional, body, because they haven't passed enough bills because there's been so much infighting. But anyway, I don't think if Kamala and they receive the House and the Senate, I don't think there's going to be a lot of unpacking, like just trying to figure things out, because of course Biden's already in the White House, and they got
to fix the abortion thing. They got to fix the abortion thing. Clearly, they're going to go and secure that. They're going to hopefully, you know what I mean. I am not a leftist liberal. I'm in the middle. So yeah, they need to fix the border.
Yeah,
they need to fix the border. Any party, I am so sick of talking about it. Every single party is responsible for the border.
Stop with this freaking border.
Yeah,
Stop with the border. Let it go. Like, if you can't fix, like, Democrats, I'm be honest, Democrats run on it and Republicans run on it. Stop with this border.
They just use it
they won't fix it because they know if they fix it, there's nothing to
talk about.
On.
Yeah, there's nothing to talk about. You can't fearmonger if you fix the problem. You know what I mean? You got it. Everyone is going to use it for a political point for every single election. It drives me nuts. It's just like, just fix the freaking border for freak's sake.
Let's go to cities. Let's fix the city. Let's fix the. There's so much stuff they can fix and work on. Mental health. There's so much stuff that they just refuse to really partake in, and it's just like it drives me crazy. But anyway, let's move on to our next subject.
Yeah.
Okay, so. This segment here is a little bit different, guys. If you're watching, we love the thing about who's the greatest. There's always a great, and there's always someone's coming up behind that great to be the next in line. You know what I mean? Whether it's a prodigy child or something like that, there's always someone that is coming up to be able to take over that place. You know what I mean? So in today's segment, What's the Greatest? We're putting Chris Brown versus Michael Jackson. Chris Brown, Michael Jackson. Now we're gonna talk about these two and see who's really the greatest in this situation. And you and I are from that generation of Michael, but we can be unbiased, correct, Robbie?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, well, yeah, we can be.
I can. I'm gonna give you facts.
I don't know. I'm gonna let you go first here because I want to know, because we are children of Michael Jackson. We've
Yes, we
lived
are.
that era.
Chris Brown came out
The
in
greatest entertainer of all time, hands down.
yes, and Chris Brown
I,
came
I
out in
am.
2000.
He
He
came
came
out
out in
with
2000.
2005.
2005.
2005. I got
Okay,
the stats right. You know, Chris' career started in 2005, giving him
so
nearly
14 years.
2 decades of experience.
Okay.
Michael Jackson started when he was 4 years old. You know what I
Yes.
mean? He
Yes.
has 45 years
Right.
of recognition. You know what I mean? Michael Jackson released 10 solo albums. Thriller
Mm-hmm.
still remains to be the best-selling album of all time. 70 million copies sold, literally.
How
Billie
many?
Jean beat it. 70 million. 70 million. That's ridiculous. Chris Brown has 10 studio albums, known for his hit song Run It, Kiss Kiss, and No Guidance.
Okay.
He has no chart-topping hits. Not one hit.
Who?
Chris Brown has no chart-topping hits.
I'm capping. You capping right
I'm
now.
not joking.
You capping.
I'm looking at the statistics right now. Michael Jackson has
Oh,
won
no,
13
no, no,
Grammys,
no.
39 Guinness World Records.
Yes,
He's
Michael.
a Grammy Legend Award, Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame winner. Chris Brown
Yes.
has won 1 Grammy, 20 nominations though. BET Awards, interview or part of accolades, nope, none. So, look, I think what's a better comparison besides Chris Brown is, okay, without Michael Jackson, we wouldn't have Chris Brown, right?
Yes.
Hands down. Hands down. Usher, to me, was probably a better comparison because Usher came from the Michael Jackson era. Usher is, I mean,
I disagree.
He is 5 times bigger than Chris Brown.
I disagree.
Hands
And the
down.
reason-
Now, talent-wise, I've seen Chris Brown he's a talent on stage, hands down. He's a dancer, produced to be a singer. You know what I mean? Michael Jackson was a straight up singer, dancer, songwriter.
Did it all.
But you can't even, they're 2 different even eras. But
Okay,
even
so,
if you Chris,
so let me say this real fast. So there are qualifications. You came with your homework. I love it. There are qualifications, or I would say stipulations to me, or that in my mind I look for. For me, it's style, sales, dance, appeal, impact on the world. Okay, now you said Usher. I don't think Usher is that. He's somewhere with Puffy doing his thing. You know what I mean? No, let's
do you
take
know how
Usher.
famous Usher was at one point?
No, it don't matter about fame. Listen, I'm gonna pick Usher up and I'm gonna put him on this side. I'm talking about Chris Brown, and the reason why I say Chris Brown is much more prominent than Usher, which is a whole nother subject. He's more prominent with Usher because Chris Brown personifies looking at him, watching his aesthetic, his optics, watching everything about him. It gives you Michael Jackson. Usher doesn't. To me, this is my opinion. Let me tell you. Usher is more so mimicking what he sees. Chris Brown is actual a dancer. Usher was taught to dance. So let's go back to Michael. Let's keep it here. Michael versus Chris. Chris, if you look at his style, he has revolutionized dance in terms of music videos, how he does it, his swag, what he wears, how he wears it, and he pinpoints what he has that to me that generational like progression. Everybody can't move the ball forward. Some people just hold the ball. Like to me, Usher held the ball. He didn't move it forward. I mean, he was great for the time that he was in. But to me, Chris, this is just my opinion. You can look crazy all you want to.
I'm not even an Usher fan, but I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, but for me,
Usher.
and listen, we're talking about Michael and we're talking about Chris. We ain't talking about Usher.
Okay.
We're talking about these two. Now we can get to Usher some other time, but these two, I'm telling you, Chris Brown is extraordinary in his style, his dance, his appeal. what his song, even his voice is really like not airy. It's very very crisp, but at the same time it's very childlike. You know what I mean? And to me, that's androgynous. An androg. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think the one thing about Chris Brown, different, even if you're even separated from Usher, is when it comes to dancing or performing on stage, Chris is his own. He is a dancer turned singer, hands down.
Yes.
And he, if it wasn't for the scandal, of him and Rihanna, Chris Brown would be in a whole different category right now. I think he would have a legacy unmatched right now if it wasn't for that Grammy scandal. Hands down, Chris Brown would have been way more famous now. But he's also not the type of personality artist like Michael Jackson who wants to rule the world. Michael Jackson was like, I am the king. Chris Brown is like, I'm here. I'm doing my thing. I'm more talented than most people. I got some hits or whatever like that. Usher was different. Usher wanted to be the king. Now, there's one performer you're not throwing in here that I think you can compare to that I think would even be a better comparison to Chris Brown than Michael Jackson would now be Justin Timberlake.
Okay.
Because he comes from a group.
Can I turn this off? Because this is just ridiculous. I don't even rate. Let me say, I'm not trying to be funny. He has his own situation. Justin ain't even in none of these conversations. Let me tell you, he ain't. I'm being honest with you. Justin Timberlake.
Well, how about this? Give me your top. If you're gonna say give me your top five. Give me Michael Jackson. If Michael Jackson is your number one,
Michael Jackson,
give me your top five.
Michael Jackson. Yeah. That's the top five.
I mean, it's clear. Like Michael Jackson influenced everything I did in my career, my life is influenced by him.
And that's the key I'm talking about, Robbie. You just said
Chris Brown doesn't influence. Like, there's nothing I can be like, oh, Chris Brown got me there. Like, I don't.
But if you look at this is what I'm saying. If you look at Chris Brown and the way that he danced and the way that his style is, if you look at all the young kids that came after him, they mimicking Chris Brown because most of them don't know Michael. And if they do know Michael, they just know just a small bit of Michael. So somebody had to take the ball and run with it. Usher didn't run with the ball. To me, Chris Brown ran with the ball. He ran. Remember, Usher came out in about 94, 95, something like that. He came out in the 90s. And then Chris Brown came out in 2005, and then he just kind of steamrolled past Usher, and it became Usher versus Chris Brown. You know what I mean? If Usher was the man, why did he become Chris Brown versus Usher?
Because at that point, Usher was also becoming a producer. So when Chris Brown came out, Usher had a good run. You got to think Usher had a good 11-year run by that point. I
think he did, but he was never in the. Listen to me. He was never in the conversation. You got to have the conversation. Michael, Chris Brown. It was never Usher, Michael. It was never that. It was just he does what Michael does. That's all it was. But when you have somebody that says, in the conversation, Chris Brown, Michael, that's a different thought. I'm telling you, it's a different
I look at
thought.
Chris Brown and I go, damn it, I wish that guy didn't have that scandal and he would be somewhere else. It's almost like, I think Chris Brown is 100%. He has Michael Jackson's charisma, hands down. Yeah. I don't think he's trying to change the game, and he's not doing anything outside the box like Michael is or did or anything like that. I think Chris Brown is going to have a really strong longevity, and I think also when he gets older, he's going to. I think he's even going to be when he's a little bit wiser and older. I think he's going to change his game a little bit, and I think he's going to have more success then. Yeah. I think he's kind of in this like little middle period, and there's a million Chris Browns out there though. That's the thing; they just never made it. They just never made it. You know what I mean?
But some of them did make it. Some of them are out there. Look at all these trends. Go to TikTok. You see all the little dances they're doing. Chris Brown. Everything.
Now, if I'm gonna give you my list, and this is gonna shock you about
what
top 5 R&B singers that I think that could have competed with Michael Jackson. You got Michael Jackson's number 1, clearly, hands down. Okay. Number 2 would be Bobby Brown. Bobby Brown was hella. You remember how famous Bobby Brown was? Bobby Brown was fucking famous. He was unreal famous.
I'm gonna let you have it. Go ahead.
Then I would put number 3, Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber still is second to Michael Jackson, hands down, when it comes to numbers. And like Justin Bieber's numbers
Are you smoking tonight? Like you're out of your
am.
mind.
I
Justin
am.
Bieber is horrible.
Oh my God! I'm not saying he's my taste.
He's
I'm just
horrible.
trying to say when you're looking at statistics and numbers.
Doesn't write, doesn't dance, doesn't write.
Justin
Barely
Bieber
won a couple
writes.
Grammys. Come on. He was built.
He's still the number one selling artist today. He is the number one streaming artist today. There's nobody bigger than Justin Bieber.
We got you number 3. Give me the 4. Who's your number 4?
My number 4 would be Justin Timberlake.
Okay, oh my God. Jesus, Lord. If y'all are watching this, y'all need to come help us out because Robbie apparently don't know what the hell he's talking about. They freaking Justin Timberlake and Bieber, like those, they wouldn't even be on any list. They're on. If you go look on the top 10,
they are on the okay, we'll look right now.
They're not on the list. No. I want you to number
like,
5.
We'll look right now.
No, give me your number 5. Give me your number. And who's your number 5?
My number 5.
Because you said Michael.
Number 5 is Drake.
Drake.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Are you talking about entertainers of the world?
And Drake's an R&B singer. Yeah. Well, Drake is the biggest entertainer right now, hands down.
Okay, so you said men R&B singers. Top
R&B singers, just men. Yeah.
And you said, okay, number 1 will be Michael. Ush.
And I'm talking about numbers. Bobby Brown. Justin Bieber. Justin Timberlake. Drake. And I'm talking about numbers, guys. I'm not talking about people who are on my playlist. I do not listen to Bobby Brown. Okay. But we all know, if you look at the numbers and look at hits and statistics, Bobby Brown is up there. He used to be the king of pop. He literally was. During the Michael Jackson era, Bobby Brown was pulling out hits, hands down. That is impressive. During Michael Jackson's prime, Bobby Brown took over the radio waves. You can't deny that. You can't deny that.
Really? I love Bobby Brown. He's amazing. He's incredible.
I don't know about that.
I really do. But again, let me tell you, I go on sales, style, appeal, and impact on the industry.
And who also comes from a group.
Impact on the world, on the landscape that is music. You got to have an impact. Michael had an impact. I think Chris Brown had an impact. Justin Timberlake, no.
What?
Justin Bieber, no. Bobby Brown, maybe a little, but I doubt it.
They're going to get you in the comments.
What'd you say?
They're going to get you in the comments.
Okay.
Dude, Justin Bieber right now is still killing it. He barely does nothing.
But that's the whole point. There is no right or wrong answer. The only right answer really, well, there is a right answer. There's not really a wrong answer.
We can all agree that Michael Jackson still is the king of pop and rock. We know that's the right answer, hands down. Why is your background doing that?
I don't know.
You're having a celebration. That was weird.
Oh. It knew when I said Michael, it was like, wow.
They were like, boo, he got it right.
Yeah, it's really Michael. But anyway, these are just subjective. I just think, going back to what we said, Chris Brown and Michael, I just think Michael will always be the king of pop. I don't think anyone's going to ever dethrone him.
And it's a hard era right now to be the king of anything, especially when it comes to music. We're talking about an era we used to like. I mean, when Michael Jackson dropped the video, the world stopped. You know, when they had a premiere, we were at Arsenio Hall, and then we were all around the couch waiting for that premiere for any kind of Michael Jackson video. That's how polarizing that dude was. Ain't nobody waiting for a Chris Brown video. I've never seen a Chris Brown video in decades. I don't even know what's going on with that.
Because you are of a particular age. So
but I'm also a dancer who used to be a professional dancer.
But your mindset is a little bit different now than when we were there. Like you have to
for sure.
When we were younger, we were like, we got to do it. But now we're like, okay, if I catch it, I catch it. But these young kids now, if you look at all Chris Brown's videos and the numbers that it does, he does really, really, really well with the young kids, like how we were with Michael Jackson. So I'm just saying, in this era, the only person right now that could somewhat compete with Michael is Chris Brown compared to anybody else. Sorry, that's just my opinion. Moving on. Can we move on now?
Okay, we'll move on.
Okay,
you're gonna get you in the comments for that one.
Oh, let him get him. Okay, and that's the whole point of life. Okay, so let's talk about the shenanigans that's happening over in Manhattan, New York.
Mm-hmm.
We all know, everybody, you have to be living under a rock to not know what's going on with Puff Daddy and all his, RICO charges and his sex trafficking indictment that came across, a week ago, or whatever. And we're just not talking about it. But we're going to talk about it. And my big question to you, Robbie, would be, um, why did we turn a blind eye? Like, why did we everybody know it's similar to the R. Kelly thing. All the industry knows he has plenty of accomplices. And I'm talking about personal assistants, managers, agents, producers, friends who all knew everything that has gone on with this sex trafficking, this RICO, this baby oil they're talking about, and all this stuff, these parties, these drugs, like everything, the grooming of these boys, allegedly Usher, like allegedly, you know what I mean? We all know this. We all know this.
And we've known it for a
No
while.
one has said anything. That's really my big question.
And they even said today that he even had, for most of his parties, he had police at the parties to make sure that no one would leave with random information and nobody could leave the party early and stuff. So he even had, cops complicit to his activity. That is what you call a gangster.
Yeah.
That's somebody who controls all aspects, who has literally the key of the city and controls it. And once anybody subjects themselves to behavior that could be used against you, somebody has the power over you. And you remember how he started this back in the early 90s when he was doing his white parties. Remember that stuff? And I was like,
yeah.
I've never liked P. Diddy, first of all. I think he's also going to get in charge for killing Kim Porter. I think also he is responsible allegedly, but I mean
this it's just an allegation.
I think he is one of the biggest gangsters of our time, hands down.
But remember, answer the question. Right.
Gay gangster.
Stop. Answer the question. Why did people? We know what happened. We know how it happened. Why are we so afraid to speak out? And I'm talking about, like I said, the assist. Why do we got to wait till Cassie 20 years later speak out and say, "Hey, this happened to me"? Now all of a sudden there's like 10 lawsuits. This guy, that girl, this one. Why did no one have the courage or the bravery to do it then?
It's hard to do because we all know. I mean, when we get to Hollywood and when you have that craving to be famous or start working or to be relevant, and you end up getting involved into a clique of people who can be responsible for your success, you have to ask yourself, what are you willing to do, see, and go through to get to your finished goal? And what is the finished goal?
To that mountaintop. Yes.
You know what I mean? And there's a lot of unexpected things that's going to happen to you in Hollywood, hands down. And when you're a young entertainer, actor, dancer, anything, even working behind the scenes or whatever like that, in any kind of corporate setting, there is always going to be a person who's going to be more powerful than you, who's going to try to take advantage of you. And if you don't have some kind of common sense or moral ground before you get into any industry, these people are going to take advantage of you. And people like him, it's like Scientology. Once you have people come and tell you your secrets, and you record them and you stuck them down, you got them. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
to me, you think people are afraid?
Oh, people they're afraid for them to know that they like baby oil. Why baby oil? That would hurt.
I guess it's slick or something. I don't really like
the smell of it.
I guess it's slick. I don't know.
I'd have been like, what are we doing with this baby oil? That is gross.
I mean, he's doing this thing. Anyway.
Could you imagine the smell of that place after the night?
It's musty and disgusting. Okay, but let's talk about Puffy. Like, we know that he's a groomer. We know that he was. You say you didn't like him. I didn't really care for Puffy. I didn't really care for Big, Bad Boy, any of that stuff. I mean, I listened to some of the songs, but then after Tupac died, after Biggie died, I'm just like,
wasn't that suspicious when Biggie died, and then he was like had a #1 hit the next day performing on a Grammys doing his. And I'm gonna use the R word, audience. He raps like a retard. He is awful. He's a good producer, and there is hands down. He is responsible for a lot of hits.
He's not the R word. He's a rapper that mumbles like a lot of rappers do. He's just a mumbler. Rappers, not all of them, but most rappers, they rap because they can't sing. That's why they rap.
Yeah, he just like he can't. It's just I'm just like, is he trying to rhyme? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
There's never been a time where I put in a Puffy album and I was like, I'm gonna listen to this joint at the gym. Like never, not even a single. As this
Right.
shit is junk. It is trash. All his music is trash. Not one song of his is a hit to
Come
me.
on, come on, some of the songs,
No,
Hypnotize. I mean,
no.
he
Soon as
has some
Puppet come
great
on,
songs.
I was like, and switch. No, he is like one of the worst rappers of all time, hands down. I couldn't wait for him to be canceled, honestly, for like 30 years. I was like, when is somebody going to realize that this dude is absolutely trash? Um, I got to meet Puffy. I
Mhm.
choreographed for, what's that vodka? Ciroc. Uh, this is a few years ago when he was still involved with Ciroc. And he was actually a cool dude. He's tall as fuck.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not like I hung out with him or anything. He was just
Right.
making a presentation and doing a speech or whatever like that. But these rumors had, when I first moved to Hollywood, back in the day,
Mhm.
um, I remember they started stemming off from, I've had lots of dancers and friends who work with some of these entertainers. So, when the rumors started about like Will Smith and Diddy, and then R. Kelly, remember that whole R. Kelly thing, and
Yeah.
then the Damon Dash thing, and
From
then the
Jersey,
Aaliyah
from the
thing,
90s.
and it just seems like there is a conspiracy, and that's what everybody felt. There's a conspiracy going on here. There is literally some deep, dark Hollywood shit, and they're right. I don't even think I don't even think he's the main piece of this. I think he is probably
A
taking the
con? You
fall.
think he's just a con?
Oh yeah. He's somebody encouraged him to get to this point.
But they were saying there was Andre Harrell. You know who that
Oh,
is?
what about
Big,
Clive
big
Davis?
producer.
What about Clive Davis?
No, come on, who's Clive Davis? I mean, I think
Who's
Clive Davis
Clive
had.
Davis? Dear
I know
God,
who
do you know
he
how
is.
many people died under Clive Davis?
I don't know. Okay, let's stick to Puffy because we gonna go down that rabbit hole. But do you think Puffy has learned his lesson? Do you
No,
think he's gotten it in jail?
no, no, not at all. I think once the serotonin comes back into his system because he's been doing drugs for like 30 years
Yeah.
and fucking every day, literally doing the pink powder and baby oil. And when he
Hmm.
sits in that cell now and his dopamine is coming back and serotonin, he's going to be like, oh dear.
I think he's doing that now.
Oh, for sure. But he's got a lot of, to me, a man who does this, it's like he's dealing with so much grief or whatever
Yeah.
happened to him as a child or whatever like that you
There you
create.
go.
It's like you're chasing the high. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't you how many people need to be fucking in your room for you to be satisfied?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That to me, that's an issue. And if I was at somebody's party and they were like, okay, now we all gonna get naked, I'm gonna be like, I am out of here.
Hmm. Yeah.
Why would you are not gonna be filming? You're not gonna be getting me any kind of compromising position where I don't know what's going on. You know, there's gonna be cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on.
But,
Did you?
but that was his thing. That if he got you on camera, if I keep Robbie in this room and I get him on camera, now Robbie has to be somehow complicit to, meaning you're complicit to this. So that means you can't say anything, you can't tell, you can't do anything because guess what? I have you on tape, homie.
Yeah, with Diddy's dick in your ass. That is, that's why people don't want to speak and say
My,
anything.
cut
They,
that,
they
cut
got
that,
really high. They look
take
behind
that,
them
take
and they're
that.
like, ah, shit, that nigga's in my ass. So
Stop it, stop it, stop,
that's
stop,
why
please stop.
the
I mean, it is
secret
what it
has
is,
been
but
kept.
let me tell you, it is what it is. But going back to him, I think you hit it on the nail on the head. There's something psychologically wrong with him that he needs to have this high, these drugs, this sexual, these sexual rendezvous like every day, like a
He's
like
chasing the
he's
dragon.
always
Yeah,
trying.
he's.
Because he's always trying to stay up. He's
Mm-hmm.
always trying to stay up. I'm trying to stay above the fray or whatever is bothering me. He never wanted to be. Oh, let me deal with my emotions, my
Yeah, you're a
feelings, my
billionaire. You
depression.
have
Yeah,
everything. What are you
you have.
chasing? What do you
Yeah,
do? You got kids. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Like, why do you need all this to make you happy? Why are you entertaining all these people? Why is it your responsibility to find everybody a hooker? That doesn't make any sense. That to me, that makes me feel like
right.
you need a hug. You need to sit
And he
down and
does.
talk.
He
And that's what
does.
his friends should have did. Somebody in this group should have been like, Diddy, stop.
But I'm sure they did. That's the thing.
Because everybody's scared of him. He's a tall
a
dude,
habit
so I
is
can see
not
he's
a habit.
intimidating.
But a habit is not a habit until you recognize it. When you have awareness of a habit, that's when it becomes, oh, I become addiction. I'm sorry. An addiction is not addiction until you become aware of it. And once you become aware of it, it's to become an addiction. And I don't think what you just said, I don't think anybody ever said to him, Diddy, you got a problem, sit down. Because guess what? They're his, they're his ticket. I mean, he's their ticket. He's their ticket. So why would I say, yeah, man, you doing that too much, don't hit her, don't do this, when you paying me? I'm gonna do what I'm gonna fly. I'm gonna do just
And
enough.
it also depends on what type of person you are. If you're an entertainer, hands down, okay. Well, and I can't say that because, for instance, there are groups and singers and bands and R&B singers who were signed under him or who were going to be, that he was trying to develop, that he took advantage of. And when you're in situations like that, it's really hard to have a voice, and it's hard to walk away from it because he is the top. It's hard to be like, okay, guys,
Right.
without this, then you're going to be blacklisted. You know what I mean? Or you're not going to be able to get into it's blacklisted in Hollywood if you don't go with, because he's so big at that point. So it only takes another person like Jay-Z to say, I'm going to shut you down.
Right.
You know what I mean? So somebody on your level who's seen it and been he's known about it. And I think that is the next name to pop up, because that is a dude who's been doing business with them. Jay-Z and Diddy have been partners for very.
If you notice, Jay-Z has been sequestered.
Because he's a rat.
He's been under a rock. Like, I don't want to be a part of this.
Why do you think?
Most people right now are scrubbing their Twitter, they're scrubbing their emails, and I get it. Don't get me wrong, but I always say, and we know the saying, we're done. What you do in the dark comes to the light. The old saying. But at the same time, Robbie, I just really feel like there's one particular person I think is going to be next that's going to go down with all that. I'm not going to name this person.
No, name him. Say it.
No, I'm not going to name him. I just think there's one person.
LaToya Jackson.
No. But I think there's one person that people are not even talking about. Something small came out about this person, like maybe about 3 months ago, or about 6 months ago, and then it was squashed. That person never said anything again because they bought him off. But I just think there's one particular person, and mark this day when I'm telling you, it's one particular person. I'm gonna write. Let me type it here so y'all I don't remember, and I'll send it to you. You're gonna be like, oh my God, really? Yeah, I just think it's that.
Why you gonna type Chris Brown?
No, I don't think it's Chris Brown. Chris Brown was
obviously see, told you.
Chris Brown is like,
he was at them parties.
If I say it out loud and do it out loud, if I do it out there, it makes it okay. The world accepts it. But it's just one particular person. But I really feel bad. I feel sorry for him in a way.
Why do you feel sorry for him?
No, I'm gonna tell you why. Because out of my humanity, everybody looked at his money, and no one was willing to pull his ass to the side and say, "Look, dude, this is what's going on. That's what's going on. Your ass gonna go to jail," or turn them in, like early, turn them in, or say, "Hey, this is what's going on. I saw this, I saw that." Because they said Neo, they said Usher, they said, and some other person saw him hit Cassie in the stomach, and they said nothing. So that means you witnessed an assault and didn't do anything. So that's why I feel sorry for him, because no one was able, when people are telling you you're number one, you're the best, I need a picture from you, I need money from, when they're constantly clamoring at you and no one's telling you what you're doing or saying is wrong, how do you know right from wrong? How do you know up from down? How do you know east from west when no one is giving you direction? You know what I mean? Like, I don't care how much money you got. Who cares? At some point, there's got to be some kind of morality in there that says, you know what, this is wrong. This feels kind of wrong. That's why the chickens that's come home to roost for P. Diddy. He's sitting somewhere in New York in a jail somewhere. Dude, it's over. Let it go. It's over. Repent, and help people in jail. That's my point.
Yeah, and people need to just make a conscious decision of not to work for people like this. Hands down. You can't work for people like this. You know what I mean? You can't. Even if there's a slight rumor, I would be like, I'm not interested. I can find another way. There's a better way to do this. You know what I mean? You can't. I've had a crazy boss before who did some crazy shit all the time. I can't take it. I'm out. You know what I mean? I don't want to be responsible. I don't want to be legally responsible for seeing anything. I don't want to be a witness to anything. You're dumb. you just gotta be like, you know what I mean, and just trust in yourself that you can get to the spot again.
Yeah. Because you don't want to be a person that's going to be accomplished to whatever they're doing, and then all of a sudden it gets back. Like perfect example, everybody's scrubbing their like I mentioned before, everybody's scrubbing their
Yeah,
Twitters. There's a lot of people who are going to be attached to Puffy and whatever happens.
a lot of people, there's CEOs, all sorts of shit. But no, I could tell. Now the bright side of this is the end of old school management and dealings with music industry. These labels and yeah, it's like, you know what I mean. If anything good about social media, people, like, you can market yourself. You know what I mean. You can build your own audience.
You don't have to go. Nobody
distribution is a whole nother thing, but you're not relying on one dude to tell you what your career is now. You're in control of your own identity now.
You do not have to be on a casting couch, is what you're saying. You don't have to.
No, you're in control of your own. You can market yourself online now. Like, I think if anything that the social media is good for is that you could be yourself, and you don't need to rely on a label and anything to tell you what, because you're an individual. And there's many artists right now who are making it without labels, who can have a voice out there, and that's a good thing. This is old school. It's like Weinstein shit. You know what I mean? Like this is the end of all that era of all that kind of crap. Yeah, you know what I mean?
I still think there's a couple more that's going to come. That's going to be.
For sure.
They're going to come out and they're going to be, indicted or whatever. I think there's a couple more of them that are like your boy Russell, who ran over to I think he went to Bali or something like that.
But he didn't run over. He still lives. He that's the thing. He built a.
Oh, I'm sorry. He flew over.
Yeah, but he didn't fly. He has a health center there, like a meditation place that he built and stuff like that. But he still comes to LA, and oh yeah. That is like quiet. Yeah, that's bullshit stuff.
I'm not
I don't think Russell Simmons is like. I've met Russell Simmons too.
Okay.
I think you're looking bigger than him. Russell Simmons is big, but I think you're looking at like a Clyde Davis. You're looking at a Jay-Z.
Who Clyde Davis gonna be on? Sit down, Clyde.
It's who was his mentor. Hierarchy. Like, where's you know what I mean? Like, it's bigger than him.
The power play.
Yeah, it's bigger than him. Like these guys, Russell Simmons, those people are still pawns. They're not like, you know what I mean? There's somebody else bigger than this is going on right now. And Pity ain't going. If Diddy's going to get, if they make him a deal, if there's a plea deal, which I don't think right so far, there doesn't seem to be anything happening. Like they're not even giving him bail. So that means either he's just not talking at all, or they just got so much evidence on him as being the RICO leader that it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, would there be any? And this is not a race issue. What is? But I guess it's a dumb question actually, because when you think about it, if he was a white male, would they have been so great? Now you saw how they raided that house. Hands on, he did have weapons that had serial numbers and shit. They came in there hard. They really want to embarrass this dude.
This don't have nothing to do with race.
No, it doesn't. But
no, there's no but, and I'm gonna tell you why there's no but. This is 20-something years, Robbie. This is
longer than that. Yeah,
from 1990 all the way to 2024. So they had a chance to arrest him all these years. So I know the feds.
That means that there must be so many people high up. There have to be so many people, senators who are at his parties who have been. He had to literally have the city by the balls. Any city, Miami, New York, LA, for anybody to touch him. That's what I call a gangster.
Oh, complete
gangster. That's a Capone. That's a Capone.
Gangster in jail.
Yeah.
And I don't, like I said, I don't wish anything bad like that on anybody. But at some point,
but when you do bad on other people, like
it never forgets it. What you say?
I said, but when you do bad on people, sex trafficking is a whole.
That's a whole other thing.
That's a whole other thing. And if you're responsible for sex trafficking, making people do things without their will, regardless, I do wish bad on you. Like, come on, you don't need to have slaves around. That's ridiculous shit. Like, go to jail.
Yeah, he'll figure.
Go to jail and stop making music.
His life is over. So I mean, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And hopefully, those that are coming behind him. My point is, those that are coming behind him look at that, look at the R. Kelly, look at the Harvey Weinstein, look at the Epstein's, and they say, you know what? I want to be better. I don't want to put myself in that predicament or that position. So let me do it the right way.
Yeah.
Let me try to do it the right way.
And a person of money, if I am at a successful level, you have to
Right.
you have to be like, anything that I do is going to be, and I do to somebody, is going to be magnified 5 times. If it's going to be, it's going to come back to me. You never get away with things, and the more money you have, the more chances it's going to come back to you. And you've got to know that. Like, and to me, that's why I don't feel sorry for people like that, because like you're running a multi-million-dollar business. You have people, employees. There are people. You're responsible for people's livelihoods. You're paying for people's homes, their children, disability insurance, all that kind of stuff. And you're doing this kind of behavior. Stop it, and stop using baby oil. That's gross.
It's easy to say that from a vantage point of a lack of power. I just think when you in a state of power, when you have that power, like the president, the vice president, a mogul at a company, Elon Musk, all these different people, it's intoxicating. Look at Biden. He barely wanted to leave. He's freaking 80-something years old, and he barely wanted to leave. And the only reason why he didn't want to leave is power. I'm telling you. But he left. Don't get me wrong, he left. But power is intoxicating. And once you get a whiff of it, a grasp of it, it's hard. It's extremely hard to let go. So I don't give no one a pass, but I know having a bit of power, me being a manager for a long time, I know what that feels like, and I never abused my power, but I know what that feels like, where people under you have to be your subordinates, have to follow you and do what you say, and you're helping them to live their life, as far as hiring people, you know what I mean, and as far as firing people. That's power, man. It's a lot for people. A lot of people can't handle it. That's why the old saying about having all that power. Too much is given, much is earned. What is it? What is it? Too much is given, much is required. That's what it is. Much is given, much is required. So if you got all that power, you got to be able to relinquish some of it and help out the people. Anyway, that's that. So thanks so much for that. But I hope he worked it. I hope he worked that shit out.
And hopefully justice will be served.
Yeah, but we're going to end it there. Okay, Robbie.
Let's do it. That was a good one. Yay.
Yeah. So let me tell everyone who's watching at home. We'll have more amazing conversation about different topics, different subjects. It's going to be really, really great. But if you really love our conversation, please like and subscribe to our channel, to our podcast. We want to do more and more. We want to continue to do more and more of these, because we love conversing, right?
That's right.
Mr. Robbie.
We're going to talk some stuff with seasons.
But also, I want to tell you guys, in the comments today, I want to see in the comments, who's better? Is it Michael Jackson or is it Chris Brown? I want to know who are you guys rooting for, and tell me why. Just don't say Chris Brown or Michael Jackson. Just tell me why. Why do you think whichever one's legacy is the best, or whichever one do you think is, has kind of progressed into a way in which the world acknowledges their impact? Just let us know. I would really appreciate it. Anything else from you, Robbie?
No, that's it. I'm good. I'm interested to see what these comments are going to be like.